The next massacre that I'm going to highlight is the Benin Massacre of 1897. So before this massacre happened, the backstory to it is at the time before this massacre happened, there had been a bit of a relationship that was being formed between the people of Benin and the British Crown. And so sometimes they would send envoys to the Kingdom of Benin to pay courtesy visits to the king or to try to sign some sort of a treaty. And around this time, I think it was around 1896, they sent an envoy to the Kingdom of Benin. And what would happen whenever all of these people would arrive is they would arrive at the port. They would then send a message with a messenger to the king to essentially say, there are people who have arrived and they want to see you. And then the king would either agree to have these people enter the Kingdom of Benin or he would say no. And so this envoy arrives and sends a message to the king to say, I'm here, I'm from Britain, I've come to see you for this reason. And so the king sends a message back and says, okay, you can't see me right now. You're going to have to wait a few days because at the time there was an annual sort of ceremony ritual that was being performed by the king and by the people of the village that the king said was only for the people of Benin to bear witness to. Because this person who was sent from the UK was an outsider, he was not allowed to come in during the time that this ritual was happening. And when this message of the king denying him entry and asking him to wait a few days reaches this envoy that was sent by the British Royal Crown, he doesn't listen to the message and he still proceeds and arrives in the Kingdom of Benin. Now, on arrival, he arrives and this ritual obviously is still happening. And when he arrives, he gets killed because the king told him not to arrive. And he took it as disrespect to not have his instruction followed in his kingdom. Now, when news of this British envoy being killed reaches the British Royal Crown, they obviously take offense to it. And they also considered it an act of war. And what they did is they sent a company of soldiers in 1897 into the Kingdom of Benin to basically burn the place down, massacre as many people as they could, and sack the place, which they essentially did. And in the process of sacking the place, they erased the history and they erased the existence of one of the most important and one of the greatest African kingdoms that ever existed. In the time of them massacring people and razing the place to the ground, thousands upon thousands of texts were destroyed. All of the Benin bronzes that now sit in the British Museum were taken. There's a bunch of bronze busts that were taken. That the Ido people were very, very good carvers as well. There were all of these amazing, intricate ivory carvings that were taken from the Kingdom of Benin as well, most of which can be seen in the British Museum. I've seen them myself and they're absolutely amazing. And they essentially just wiped this kingdom off the map. Before the British went into the Kingdom of Benin and destroyed it, there was a giant earthworks wall, if you could call it that surrounded the Kingdom of Benin. And according to the Guinness Book of World Records, I don't know what year it was in the 70s, but they highlighted that the wall of Benin was the largest earthworks that were ever completed by human beings before the mechanical era. They were larger than the Great Wall of China. They were massive, but all of this stuff was it was completely erased. They blew all of that stuff up. And yeah, that's the second massacre I wanted to highlight.